Next from Constitutional Arms, we have the Constitutional Defender. Hey guys, Dantix here, back with another Cyberpunk 2077 video, and damn do I have a lot of information for you today, even though we didn't get gameplay from the Xbox showcase. I have to quench your thirst after all. For those who don't know, the World of Cyberpunk, an art and lore book, was recently released in Europe. It contains a whole lot we didn't know. Those who have purchased a copy have graciously uploaded pictures for us, and it contains more on kitanas, guns, ammos, projectile arm launchers, dual wielding cars, gangs, districts, net running, and more. So thanks to Kalenko4 of Twitter and other sources which I put in the description. So let's start with this, new images of katanas in the game. I've already showed you the gameplay and mentioned I wasn't a fan of the baby blue handles. Well, it seems the Arasaka brand katanas are more customizable than we thought. You're able to seemingly independently color the handle and the blade. So if you wanted, you could have a pink blade and a red handle, though I'm not sure why you'd ever want to destroy your eyes like that. Next, let's take a look at the weapon brands on the left and the vehicle brands on the right. Sadly, we can't gather a lot of information from the brands and the logos, so let's dive into what you can expect. First up is BA, or Budget Arms. So Budget Arms are your cheap and plentiful choice. The company is all about exploiting unrest to sell bulk junk, you know, like Kmart. But unlike Kmart, you can't modify Budget Arms weapons to the same standard as the more expensive manufacturers. So those with high tech might stay away from Budget, as their modifications won't be as effective on the cheaper base. Though, check out this old man Fallout style power armor. It kind of almost redeems the brand for me. Now, I don't know the brand of this, even though on the handle it says BA. The logos don't really match up. However, these are combat knives that hold cartridges of neurotoxin. Yes, you can stabby injecty and bounce to let your target die of poison damage. This is one of the more interesting looking weapons, and I love how the cartridge resembles little batteries. It's not often that you have a reload animation for a melee weapon. Then we have the brand Militech. We've seen some of their soldiers in screenshots before looking like Toad from Mario, but in this case, this helmet is pretty interesting and provides an internal HUD for the user. Here's another image of Militech troops in South America, using a high-tech ship that reminds me of Red Alert 2's Kirov airships. We also have an anti-personnel tank that I hope we'll be able to use in the game, but I wouldn't cross my fingers too hard. I know in GTA we could spawn tanks in, maybe we can do it in this, I don't know. Next we have the Malorian pistol. We can see both hollow point and regular rounds with a clip that holds up to 6. Now this is one of your show-stopping pistols. Each round hits hard, shoots far, and is accurate. I also believe this is the gun brand that Johnny Silverhand used. It's a gun you may want to invest upgrades and modifications into, as it will scale well. Like mentioned, some of the best weapons in the game will be the ones you make and modify, and you can take a low-level weapon and upgrade it along with you until the end game. Next from Constitutional Arms, we have the Constitutional Defender. Do you want to protect your rights and turn your neighbors into Swiss cheese? Well, fire a trash can full of bullets at them and hope one lands. Before we move on, let's mention the fact that Marcin Marmot, the community lead for CD Projekt Red, has confirmed that there is no dual wielding weapons in Cyberpunk 2077. So don't expect to double pistol it like John Wick. It's probably for the best and probably for balancing reasons, but aesthetically, I'm fine with it. The sheer choice we have is overwhelming, and dual wielding would be a little much. Also, it would mean the button for looking down sights or blocking would be replaced with firing your offhand. Also reminding you that the competition to win yourself a copy of Cyberpunk 2077 is ongoing, so enter below if you haven't entered. And if you enjoy my content, do the standard YouTube stuff and follow my socials and Discord for updates. Now let's take a look at some of the ammo you can use. In this case, ammo for a tech shotgun. We can see that there are numerous spike projectiles in the case, and these rounds are fired like a railgun with magnetism rather than a chemical reaction. Tech weapons can pierce through walls and cover. These are the weapons you will most likely want to modify and create with a heavy tech attribute investment, as we know some perks increase your effectiveness with them. Moving over to vehicle manufacturers, check out Hera. This is a Spanish brand of luxury cars that the uber wealthy would use when money's not an issue. No doubt we'll be able to steal these high-end vehicles for a joyride, but they might be one of the hardest to do in terms of skill requirement. We might need a hell of a lot of tech investment to do so, for example. There's no word if you can buy one yourself or even earn them in missions, but I imagine so too. But maybe luxury isn't your style, so go with the Archer brand, known for its hard edges and angular design, is budget, traditional, and does the job, just like the all-American Thornton. Because who doesn't want to drive a pickup truck around a futuristic city? I mean, this truck does have double back tires and 3 exhausts, so why not? Then we have the Rayfield Erondite. If you choose the Street Kid path, you might get in contact with this car right off the starting line. This is another luxury brand and extremely high end, just like the Hera. It's unclear just how skilled or rich you'll have to be to drive around in one. Next, we have some information on gangs, but I can't discern much from artwork alone, so just admire the work that went into differentiating them. First is the El Caldos, and they have a very Street Kid feel to them. Then we have the Wraith, who have a high-tech militarized punk feel to them with mountain turrets and gas canisters. Then we have the Triad-inspired Tiger Claw gang. Mox we've seen in the recent gameplay, but check out some more designs. A Reddit user in the description put together a map of where the gangs will be located in the city. We've seen the animals in Pacifista in the gameplay demo, we've seen Moxes in the recent hands-on, and we just talked about the Tiger Claws. Next, we have a few pages of the book dedicated to the map. When put together, we can see all the main roads of Night City. This doesn't include the Badlands and other areas outside the city. Sadly, once again, it doesn't really capture the sheer scale of the game, as we know from both playing the title and witnessing gameplay that each block isn't a leisurely stroll. It's big enough to have an on-rails helicopter scene in one district. It's compact in just how much is in each square, but still a decent sized area. So let's run through some of the areas you can visit. First, an oil field on the northern outskirts of Night City. It's not something we've seen yet, however, it's quite vast and only further adds to the scale of the map. It's not something you'll be excited to go out and explore, but no doubt there'll be some shady characters around for you to aid or destroy. Next, we see a fish market in Wellsprings, which is a sub-district of Haywood. What is interesting is the holotech they use to project a fish on the footpath to attract customers. As we've seen in gameplay before, advertising plays a massive part in this dystopian world. As someone that escaped after 10 years of advertising in agencies, I can tell you that they really are as evil as you think. I mean, check out these ads. Here we have Kabuki, which is a sub-district of Watson. Then we have 2 sub-districts of Haywood. First is Vista del Rey, and the next is the Glen. Here is another image of Corpo Plaza. I have a feeling this is what we hope to burn down or indenture ourselves. Then we have Japantown in Westbrook and the Arasaka building, which really does give off the feel of corporate slavery. Welcome to North Oak. If you're not rich or famous, leave at once. Here is the inside of a luxury apartment with a brain dance station and a tiger. Then we have Rancho Conrenada, a sub-district of Santo Domingo. So environmental exploitation by megacorporations has changed the climate forever. Massive storms and floods ravaged cities. In this case, a settlement was abandoned after a sandstorm. Finally, we have a shot of Pacifista, a city intended for the uber wealthy which was abandoned before it completed. Now, gangs like the Voodoo Boys call it home. So you can kind of see just from these few sub-districts that the world is quite expansive. Moving on, here's an image of Mr. Richard Knight, which is Mr. Night City himself. He looks menacing as hell and we'll have to play the game more to find out some more about him. In the Gig trailer, we saw V firing a rocket from his arm. Here we see a close-up of the modification. Obviously you won't be able to have this and the Mantis blades at the same time, so this is one of the first instances we see of body modification choice. So here we have a high-level Netrunner agent with cyberware, in-built cooling, and a matrix-like jack that plugs directly into the cerebral cortex for better performance and faster data transfer. It helps them netrun with extreme prejudice. Here we see a better close-up of Adam Smasher. We had a short preview of him in the Gig trailer, but here you can get a good look at the Arasaka Merc who was said to have killed Johnny Silverhand. At this point he's basically all machine, but don't let that fool you. He was a natural killer before all the mods as a powerful solo class. Next, let's take a look at the police of Night City, the NCPD. Strangely enough, the first response wing of Night City looks relatively unmodified, maybe intending to be the friendly face until the big boys need to be called in. Translated from the book, it says, police are working outside of corpo-controlled areas. They are work overloaded, but salary underpaid. Most of them have to work with poor equipment, not even half as good as corpo agents, so that explains less mods. But a few of them are armed to the teeth. These are the cyborg suppression unit, so watch out. They go on with, impotence and work overload lead to frustration, which leads to excess brutality and corruption, and further results in bad public image for the police. Okay, so that's all the information I have for you today. What did you think? Are you excited for more? I'm blessed to have you all here and as interested in Cyberpunk and other RPGs as I am, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.